language, Angelman, Brightman. Even the word language is a word of symbolic sigil magic, when using another of their mirror techniques of putting the first letter of a syllable to the end of the same syllable, and you get Anglo-H. When applying the sound, shape association, not historical evolution of a word, we see that the word language is really angel-age or a spiritual communication, angel way. Taken even further, angel way is actually in, or IL way. This spiritual communication is called channeling, and we are all forced to perform it. This sort of channeling is not passing on awareness, however, for all thoughts are sounds, which are lies, and these lies act as a curtain that appears to disconnect us from our original wisdom state by creating distractions that hinder our awareness. This distraction and seeming disconnection creates the three-dimensional illusion we call reality. Obviously, this is not very scientific to be sure. But why stop there? English is Angelman. In other words, the English language is the perfection of the Luciferian mind communicating with humanity. All language slowly evolved, on purpose, so as not to get the symbolism too powerful, too fast. Humanity was conjured up to swallow the lunacy we see in the world today, at this particular time in history, as the Luciferian, Illuminati agenda, using their ultimate manipulation language, English, came into play. This was done purposely, on a time delay schedule, but not before the matrix of deceit had been firmly established. It should be pointed out that when the basic block-style letter was first introduced just a few centuries ago, the people were disgusted with the look. There were no serifs on the letters as they were accustomed to. The classic Roman letters with the little points on the corners were simply cut off, and the strokes, both vertical and horizontal, were basically the same thickness. This style of writing became known as grotesque design. It may be grotesque to look at, but this alphabet would take the world to the next levels of the manipulation. So let's take a look at the alphabet symbols and the placing of the vowels and consonants. Something to be aware of, regarding vowels, they can be used in substitution, one for the other, as you never have to close your mouth or touch your teeth or tongue together, to pronounce them. Try saying the letter A and then proceed without stopping, to say E, then I, then O and finally U. What you will hear are different frequencies that form a simple incantation. Do it again, and you'll experience a strange revelation, something akin to repeating a magical incantation. In a manner of speaking, that's exactly what took place, but without a definite thought focus, it just basically drifted off without any noticeable manipulation. This is what magic or spirituality really is. There's nothing magical or spiritual about it. It's just the way the energy of the three-dimensional world was intentionally designed, and the common man isn't supposed to find out how it works. In becoming aware of how we, the body of humanity, are simply conjured up illusory thought forms, with no basis in reality, this realization sets us free from the prison of the 3D life experience and the pressure to attempt to make it work. This life experience was designed to fail, to be filled with guilt and shame, anxiety and disease, with the ultimate goal we refer to as death. All of which are illusory hypnotic suggestion. Where to begin on the most revealing of all aspects of the manipulation of a beam of light? It hardly seems probable that so much information could be tapped out of such a concept. However, this system of deceit has to come from this source and from this simple pyramid shape of the three primary colors and the ultimate rainbow of color known as the color wheel. Why? Because we, as this illusory body of humanity, have been created by the Luciferian egregore thought process to be a form of light energy, or to appear as a physical 3D form. If this group entity wants to manipulate us, it must create systems based on how they conjured us up and what we respond to. The sounds and shapes of the letters of the English alphabet all have special primary characteristics. A, of course, is a pyramid with the separated capstone. This lets you know how important the pyramid and the triangle are to the whole system to hold down the primary position. This is alpha, the beginning. This is the first syllable of the word alphabet. It is also one of the strongest vowel sounds to project from a physical point of view. The word pyramid equals peer, to see, a, mid or dim when reversed. Pyramid is a paradigm, an example serving as a pattern. From this example of subliminal messaging, the whole pattern of hypnotic suggestion takes its course. Furthermore, a double subliminal, one suggestion that reinforces the first, is that the pyramid is the peer, or ability to see, in the mid, or middle, of the all-seeing eye, atom symbol. Yet, a further, third subliminal is achieved, in that, pyre equals fire, in the mid equals mist. The all-seeing eye is the fire of sexual regeneration in the midst of the male and female pyramids. B is derived from beta, the fertility letter, or breast. Tip the letter B to the right 90 degrees and you have the female cleavage. This whole Luciferian system is completely obsessed with throwing in sex whenever possible, for everything in the three-dimensional sphere is sex-related. Manipulating who and what we really are, by conjuring up this 3D life experience with its sexual nature, is how the Luciferian egregore group entity functions. Making us feel guilty for being human and functioning according to how we were conjured up is the ultimate corruption. When you put A and B together you get a strange sound. Ab. Say it out loud and what you really hear is Abba. Saying the letter B forces you to say Abba, which means father. Ancient Egyptians have a meaning for the sound Ba, which refers to the soul, or soul, which is the sun. This sun, in turn, is the son, the one to be sacrificed to save our soul. Reading through this site reveals that this son sacrifice is referring, not to some messianic savior, but to the illusory body of humanity, that is sacrificed constantly, on a daily basis, to the Luciferian egregore god. The Luciferan mind establishes right off through the first two letters of the alphabet, that it is our father. Father equals fodder equals dried food for cattle, etc. We are of our fodder, and are likewise implanted with the concept that we are expendable. This is why Abraham is the father of the Jews, Christians and Muslims. Abraham is but one name for the Luciferian, human sacrifice group entity, who supposedly was the father of the chosen people. Abraham has the Abba sound of father, but with the letter R thrown in so that you know the father of the chosen people is Ra, the Egyptian sun god. Ra simply means ray, as in sun rays. These two letters can also be spoken instinctively as each child learns to speak. But let's jump ahead for a moment to the last letter of the first half of the alphabet. The letter M. M stands for mother, the matriarch, the maternal one, the matrix. Combine the M with an A and you have the term Ma, which, when spoken out loud, instinctively wants to repeat itself to say mama. So we have the father and the mother at very important positions in the letter system. Take note that the M is two pyramids joined together and a reverse pyramid coming from above. This symbolizes the father, the mother and the son being produced by the union of the two. More sex stuff. Mother equals matter equals the womb of the 3D illusion. This is also the deliberate design symbolism built into the new Freedom Tower, World Trade Center 1, which is being built to symbolize the total control of our original eternal paradise state. If that wasn't enough to see the obvious intent of letter symbolism, take a look at the G in the very center of the first half of the alphabet. It is the generative God letter. It is a sex symbol as seen in the opening on the right side with the penetration of the stroke, phallic symbol, into the letter. The circle of the G is the woman and the horizontal stroke is the male penis. Now look to the right of the letter G and you find the sun has been produced in the form of the letter H. The sun is the one, concerning religious thought, who takes control, and submits all things unto himself. H stands for Horus. This is the ancient Egyptian sun god or son of God. This is the source of the word horizon. Horizon meaning Horus, the rising sun. But now, take a close look at the formation of the letter. There are two vertical strokes, the man and the woman, both joined by the horizontal stroke which is the sun, Suo. Here we see the letter H is symbolic of the triune or Trinity God concept. The letter H symbolizes that, not only are the father and son one and the same, the mother is also part of the triune God concept. The letter H also sounds like 8. The number 8 is the number of total control, as demonstrated by the octagon, or stop sign. The letter H, representing Horus, the sun god, takes control of all things, and then submits in turn, unto the father, the fodder. All this might sound like some notion of a savior, but it's double talk, and hypnotic manipulation, that's really saying, that we, this illusory body of humanity, will be ate, or eaten, for we are of our fodder. This event is recorded in religious writings, as the marriage supper of the Lamb. We are, of course, the lamb to be eaten. Being that we're not looking at these things scientifically, because of course, science is part of the flawed system, science is seance, but looking at these things as they really are, through sound, shape and color association, the ability to reveal is fascinating. However, we're not finished with the center G and H of the first set of 13 letters just yet. Take a look at what's on the left side of the letter G. It's the letter F. Now what word in common use today starts with the letter F? I'll give you a hint. It can be used as a curse word or as an expression at the moment of orgasmic delight and sounds like duck. Okay, so you get it. This word is derived from fecundate, which means to fertilize, pollinate or impregnate. Some also tell us that it is an acronym for fornicate under the command of the king, FUCK, supposedly ordered by one of the kings of England in the not-so-distant past. F also makes reference to father. So, here we have 3 letters in the very center of the first 13 that speak symbolically of the father, mother and the son, and the sexual union is suggested in all 3 letters. English is a pretty hot language when observed from this perspective. Following the letter H is the letter I. The letter I is the one supreme being, or as seen in the diagram above, the one supreme being is the all-seeing I. After all, it is the Luciferian mindset we're examining here. The word I has 2 E's representing the father of all gods and the Y, with the sound of I in its pronunciation. So basically the spelling of the word I is a 3-lettered word symbolizing a father E, a mother, the second E, and the Y, the son in the middle. Using the substitution rule of changing a G or J to a Y, in reverse, and the word I equals ig equals ego, as vowels can be substituted as well. The I is the ego, which initiated the thought process, inasmuch as the ego thought it knew something. Have you ever heard this song, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, E-I-E-I-O? Hypnotic suggestion comes in all kinds of peculiar packages. So why is the Y representing the sun? Simply because it's an upside-down, 3-pronged beam of light, or the 3 primary color pyramid demonstrated on this site. Simple shape subliminal symbolism. The point of contact on all 3 strokes of the letter Y is in the center of the hexagon of the 6-pointed star, and at the center of the letter Y itself, and therefore, once again, is referring to sex. The product of sex is a child, and in this case, the son. The word I basically has all the symbolism of the F, G and H letters. This will happen many times throughout the alphabet. After all is said and done, the letter I is the middle vowel. A, E, I, O and U. What eventually can be shown, is that I or I is actually the only word and ultimately, the only sound in the English alphabet. All other sounds, letters and shapes symbolically point back to the I, the letter I. Everything must glorify the Luciferian egregore group entity, which is the all-seeing I shape and sound.